Hey everybody, what's up? How y'all doing? This is Man Versus with Devin, your host, and I have a good friend of mine who I've known since I first got to Kennesaw. Adaeze, what's up, girl?
Hey, what's up?
I haven't seen you since I graduated. I haven't seen you in a minute. It's been like a year.
I don't go anywhere. Just I go to work.
Just go to work and back, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's unfortunate.
So where do you work?
I work at a large hospital in the area. Here in Kennesaw, you might know where it is. I'm not gonna disclose my workplace because it could be a little iffy.
Yeah, we don't want no one stalking you or nothing like that.
Please don't.
But you're a nurse, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you touch on being a nurse and just give the people your background and what exactly you do, what made you want to be a nurse and things like that. Let's make it about you.
Well, currently I'm a trauma surgery nurse. I've been that for like a year and a couple of months. Yeah. Graduate from Kennesaw State with a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, July 2018. The reason I got into nursing is because, I'm African, so it was more by force at the beginning. My mom is a nurse, my aunts are a nurse. I think a majority of my family is in healthcare. And so my mom's like, you have no choice but to do nursing. I was like, I don't know about that, but I'm actually kind of grateful that I went into it because I honestly don't think myself doing anything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could do anything else, but
Gotta be a nurse.
yeah, gotta be a nurse. I work on a trauma surgery unit, so I see a lot of crazy stuff. Majority stab wounds, gunshots, car accidents. I think car accidents I see the most. People drive really crazy and they come with the worst injuries. A lot of drunk drivers hurt themselves and other people. Last week we had a case where a girl came in. I guess her boyfriend took them on a high-speed chase, crashed the car, and left them. He left scotch-free, but left her and the other passenger in the car busted up. So
what? So you live like an action movie life. Like this sound like a TV. We need to have a show called Adaeze.
Like we get a lot of crazy cases. Like another one, some boy went to a party trying to be like, Mr. Bad Guy, and he pulled out a gun. He was only 17, pulled a gun during the party, and I guess he tried the wrong person. The guy flipped the gun on him and shot him in the stomach.
Oh man!
I was like, what were you thinking? And it was real bad for him because he ended up vomiting blood everywhere. It was horrible.
Oh man, what?
Yeah.
You live like so. This sounds like an actual you watch the TV shows. It's like we have a patient with 2 gunshot wounds and we need 10 cc's of I don't know I don't know anything about medical stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because and I'm actually glad I work on trauma surgery unit because I don't think I could work anything else. No offense, other wounds cardiac, renal, those are a little boring. Trauma
You want the action.
Yeah.
You need to
going through the patient's H&P, history and stuff like that, you just see, it's, you read it and you be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
I can't believe she's living this life.
Really?
I can't believe he's doing this.
Really? You've been in 2 motorcycle crashes in the last 2 months and you still drinking and driving? Are you serious?
And then you got a new motorcycle?
Yeah. So, I see a lot of crazy stuff and I don't think I could do anything else, but we also do get regular med surg patients, the cardiac patients, renal patients, and those usually tend to be old elderly patients, and those are my babies.
So they're students, kind of?
No, they're older patients.
They're older patients.
The older,
okay.
with dementia, it just gets a little scary at night.
Oh, so
they get a little angry.
Okay.
Sundowning is real.
So it's kind of like a hospice, you kind of take care of them.
I wouldn't say hospice. They come in for coming for problems, problems that are active at that moment. Say they're going through acute kidney injury, they'll come in for that. But they could be at a nursing home and they had to come in immediately because they weren't, functioning properly, or they were too sick to stay at the nursing home. They had to come to the hospital, so we had to take care of them. Or we have elderly patients that had stroke at their nursing home and they had to come. We have to take care of them. But old people are the funniest. I would say that.
Okay, so are you actually in the the auditorium or theater? Isn't it called it?
Oh no, that's OR.
Okay, that's
I don't know.
Oh, so you do the initial when they first come into the.
No, I'm not an ED nurse. They come from the ED and they come to us.
Oh, okay.
If they're stable enough. If they're not, then they'll go to trauma ICU, intensive care, where they'll be like intubated, all the stuff like that. But if they're stable enough to, not need too much, where they don't need to be intubated or need to be on multiple drips, then they'll come to us.
Okay. So you just put me on game. I didn't even know that. I'm thinking like those are the same two nurses. Okay, that's what's up.
No, we got a lot of different specialties. A lot. You can do nursing is very like diverse. You can do so much in nursing. Like you can be like a nursing lawyer if you wanted. You don't even have to do bedside. There's so many things you can do. You can do like home health, where you go to people's houses, give them infusions. Do like wound care on them. Like some people have like really bad like pressure ulcers where they from sitting down too long or laying on their back bottom too long or just being contracted and having like their bony prominences like smashed together. So like they'll get like different pressure wounds, and sometimes wound care nurses come in and clean those out. Okay,
yeah, because my auntie, she's a nurse. She works at Emory, and she's one of the head OR nurses. Oh, so wow. Like she does OR. So yeah, she actually when I had my surgery, I think she like was in there with me when I was unconscious. I'm not sure. It was pretty cool, but she's so high up now. Like I don't even think she really times have changed because of Corona, but I don't think she's done much nursing anymore. She's more like in the hiring process now because like she's so like upper echelon, but she she got it hard for it like for years. But I really want to talk on Corona though. Yeah, like I feel like there's so much. I feel like every day there's a new Instagram video, every day there's a new Twitter video or some viral tweet or some post we see on Facebook where the news is saying something. I just want to get someone who I personally knew, who I feel like is really, really smart, way smarter than me about this stuff. Because I'm just going off of what I hear like on a podcast or a YouTube video, and like even my auntie, she's telling me stuff, but she can only tell me so much over like a text because she's working like 13-hour shifts. Yeah. So as soon as she gets off, she's going straight to bed. Then she wakes back up and goes straight to work. I mean, yeah, you know about it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So I just want you to spit some knowledge about Corona and like debunk some of the myths that we've heard on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. Like drinking bleach. What?
I mean, if that was the case, we would have been using that in the beginning. So like we have people coming in getting like there was some case about some guy gave himself a bleach enema. You have destroyed your insides.
A bleach enema?
Yes.
Like an enema.
And his reasoning was because, the president said so that's why I did it. Well, now you have chemical burns up your butt. So, I mean, what was the reason? If that was the case, like if bleach or disinfectants were the cure to coronavirus, we would have been using it. But like this new strand of COVID, we don't know what it is. Like they don't know how to stop it. They don't know how to prevent it. Even some of the rapid testing they're doing right now, 30% of them are coming back as false negatives. Do you know how dangerous that is?
So like they're wrong? Like 30% of the cases are.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like that's super dangerous. I feel like that means more people are spreading it than they think.
Yes.
So that means 30% of the cases someone could have it.
Yes.
Bruh, that's so okay.
And we'll think they're not like they don't have it. We'll think that they're good. Like they'll get the rapid testing 2 times and they'll both say they're negative, but like they're showing all the symptoms and everything. Down the road they'll find out they have it. They have to go to ICU. What about the staff that's been around them the entire time they've been here?
And then they've probably like gone out, got some food, chill with family. Now you got to test the whole and then even when you test the family, it's still 30% cases of it could be wrong. Dang. So this is much worse than we think it is.
Yeah, because the ICUs are packed.
Like
packed.
Like full.
Yes, with COVID patients. You go down there and it's like all the IV poles are all outside the room because like the nurses need to be able to control the drips at all times without being able having to go in the room. And if the patient starts coding, the nurse has to like gown up completely before they go in there. Because if not, they risk getting sick because literally if you start compression and the patient spits up, you're toast.
So you got it.
Definitely. There's no way.
So they saying that with COVID, like it's kind of like the flu.
No, definitely not.
So it's not the flu.
Because with the flu, like you stay home, drink some fluids, take some medication, orange juice, whatever. After a while, the fever will go down. You'll be okay. You're not going to deal with any complications like kidney failure, possible stroke. You don't have to deal with any of that. People are going and having to deal with like dialysis while they're being intubated. Like, that's ridiculous.
So wait, COVID affects your kidneys as well?
It's affecting kidneys. It's also affecting the clotting factors. So you can possibly stroke out.
Oh man, you put me on game. I didn't even know that. Because I want to blame the news a little bit too, because like a lot of the news is saying, like, I've never heard this from the news. They keep saying like, oh, like, yeah, it's like a harsh version of the flu. All you gotta do is like, if you get it, stay indoors. You'll get like a slight fever or whatever. So it's way worse than what people are actually saying it is.
Yes. For some people, it could present as a flu in them, except with the dry cough. Like, they could have a low risk version of it, where their body's not really reacting too bad. They they have a high fever, they're having a bad headache, dry cough, all that, lack of taste, all that. Like, that's how their body's handling it,
reacting to it.
And then there are other people whose bodies are reacting to it, and they're like extreme cases,
like shutting down.
Yeah. So you don't know, like, the best prevention is to stay away, like stay inside, social distance, live a cleaner life. But like, some people don't get that because you don't know how your body's gonna react to it. Yeah. You really don't. Some people are healthy, and then the next minute they're dying from it because their body's like, whoop, switch off.
Yeah, see, like, my mom, she keeps freaking out because, y'all know, like, I have heart problems. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Devin, if you get it, like, I don't know what I'll do, but like, you have underlying conditions. And even my friends, like, I have a group chat full of some friends that have heart problems as well. Like, one guy, he's on transplant medicine because he has a heart. So his doctor actually, and I think it's so, like, I freak out sometimes because his doctor is like, you need to stop taking your, like, anti-rejection medicine, because like it suppresses your immune system. Yep. And his doctor's like, if you get it, like, he told him, like, he's like 99.9% chance like you're gonna die. So he hasn't left his apartment literally like in a month and a half. And he lives in Colorado. And he hasn't, like it's crazy. Yeah. And so like even me, like I try not to go out. Like, I mean, I go run on the street and stuff like that. But like I literally go to Walmart. I go to Walmart on Monday morning, early in the morning, make sure there's like 20 people there. There's no one there. I get my groceries for the week, go back to my crib. I'm set. I ain't gotta go nowhere. Like, I only get gas like once every 2 weeks, and gas is super low right now. Yep. So
super cheap.
I'm trying to do my social distance thing, but it is kind of hard. But also with COVID, what can we do, like, really to stop the spreading of it? Because Kemp just, oh man.
I mean, social distancing is what's been working the best as of now.
Yeah.
And making sure that you stay as clean as possible, wipe down surfaces, wash your hands. Please wash your hands. Please wash your hands. I'm still seeing people not wash their hands and touching everything. Wash your hands. You're at Walmart and you're touching fruit. You're touching everything. You're wearing gloves. You're touching everything. You're touching the stuff in your bag. You're touching your face. You're touching your cell phone.
Yeah, so I think it's crazy, like, because I got into some arguments about starting my phone and touching my phone and all that stuff and washing my hands. And I'm like, to me, it don't make no sense to wash your hands, then touch your phone, and then go touch your car, and then touch everything else. So I feel like if you're going to really, be clean and stuff like that, like, you get some gloves, you touch some stuff, then you get a new pair of gloves.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to be.
See, keep going, yeah.
Because if I do patient, like, I try to remind some of my friends, like, if I'm to go in the patient's room, I'm going to take care of it, I'm going to put some gloves on. The phone that I have, that my little work phone, my little ASCOM, I'm not touching that if it rings. Mm-hmm. If I'm touching the patient, I'm handling anything that has to do with that patient, I'm not touching anything that belongs to me. I'm not touching my face, not touching my hand, not touching my watch. I'm not touching anything. Everything that pertains to that patient that can be touched. But once I'm done with that patient, I'm taking those gloves off, I'm washing my hands, and then I can proceed to touch my phone, my face, if I wanted to, and then go wash my hands.
Okay, so you were saying that when you're a nurse and someone's coding. Mm-hmm. You said coding, right?
Yeah, coding.
Yeah, okay. When someone's coding, I'm assuming that means something bad's happening because that don't sound good. But when someone's coding, you have to, you said suit up? What did you say?
You have to gown up.
Gown up. So what is gowning up? How do you do that?
basically putting all the protective gear on that you need to put on before you go in the patient room. So like starting off before, like with the PPE, I would put on like a set of gloves. After that, putting on a set of gloves, I'll put on my gown.
Okay.
I'll get my N95, which I had to get fitted for. Place that on with my opposite hand. Put that over my face. Then get another surgical mask to keep that N95 clean because we have to reuse it. Put my face shield on. Then put another set of gloves on. And then I can go into the room.
Okay. So wearing all that, let's say a patient, like I don't know, because I'm talking out my butt, but let's say a patient coughs like blood on you. Are you protected or are you screwed?
For the most part, you're protected. I would also walk in with I forgot about the hairnet and also some booties if they're available. But if they're not. So you usually just have your face shield. I had a COVID-19 patient who coughed in my face, but I had the face shield on.
So you was good.
I was good, but I was freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. I went home and I was like, woke up, thought I didn't have a sense of taste. I was like, I can't taste nothing.
I can't do it.
I woke up. There's nothing.
You was eating a mango. You was like, is this sweet? I don't know.
I was like, I can't taste nothing.
He was like, Amaka, come here. I don't know if this is sweet.
I called my mom. I was like, I got coughed down. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. Yeah, that was really bad.
Wait, are there other women in your family? Are they also dealing with COVID as well?
Yeah.
So everyone's dealing with it.
Yeah, majority of my family is in healthcare. Like I have a cousin who is in public health. My mom and her older sister are both nurse practitioners. My mom works in ED at Grady.
Oh man.
Yeah, so she is seeing a lot of it. She's like, it's really dangerous out here. My dad is like freaking out constantly. That's all he talks about is coronavirus. And I call him on the phone. Adaeze, you need to know this virus is very dangerous. Very dangerous. I'm like, okay, daddy. Okay, I heard you. That's 5 minutes. That's all he's talking about. Anything my mom tells him, he's talking about it. He's calling my phone. Are you protecting yourself? I'm like, yes, daddy. I think I know how.
I mean, I think that's a good father though. That's a good dad. Like he weren't. I mean, because
he's freaking out.
Yeah, my mom is freaking out about everything. But I feel like those are just good parents. Like, yeah, they can't help but worry. Because I'm worried about my auntie. Like, cause I'm just like the nephew. Yeah. Like I can't imagine like how her sisters feel or like how my uncle, who's her husband, like how he feels or anything like that. So I mean, I kind of get it a little bit, not really. Yeah.
A lot of my family calls me and like freaking out, like, "Are you okay?" Like family I haven't talked to in a while, like check up on me, like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything all right? I know you're nursing, you work in the hospital. Like, how's everything? How's Corona?" I'm like, "I'm good, good."
I mean, not
taking
only
it
that,
one step at a time. Like, I mean,
you're like a super nurse. You're not just like a normal nurse. You're like you're like in the muck of it. Yeah. You're a trauma nurse, so like you see. That's probably really most of the things you see nowadays is like Corona.
Most actually, I'm seeing like how Corona is affecting people. So like a lot of suicide attempts. You're getting a lot of that. Jesus. Suicide attempts. People like sneaking out at night. And getting stuff. Getting car accidents. People getting domestic violence. A lot of that. So it's like I'm seeing how COVID-19 is affecting people.
Yeah, like that was one of the bigger things that a lot of people worry about on social media and even like a lot of YouTube videos. They were saying like people who are like, you can't, because we're not shut down anymore, but when we were shut down, you couldn't go nowhere and you were living with your abuser. Yeah. Like now you got to go into the hospital or maybe because like, he beat you up or, she beat you up or whatever. And that was really scary for me thinking about it too, because I was like, dang. Like, I know some girls who are stuck in a bad situation right now. And I was just like, and the crazy part is like, you can't even text them about it because they can't, they can't hide their phone. Like they can't go out in public. So it's just like, because if you text about it, he sees it. Like exactly. You already know what he's going to do. And she's toast. And I was like, ooh, like I wish there was but there's no way around it though. Like you can't go anywhere. If you go either you get it or you get sick. You stay home with your abuser, and I feel like
so it's like sad. Like black and white, gray area. So like
it's got to be some gray areas.
Yeah, definitely. So we get a lot of those. Like people are coming in depressed because they lost their jobs. They're overdosing on pills. People are stabbing themselves, slitting their wrists. I'm like, please.
Yeah, I feel
it's gonna be okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they like their lives are tied into like at least men. I don't know about women.
Yeah, definitely.
Like men's like our lives are so tied into like jobs and making money and producing for the family. And when you lose that, that's like 50% of your identity gone. So it's like you lose half yourself. It's like I don't know what to do. Like my kid's hungry. I ain't got no money. Like sure, I got $1,000 from the government, but that only lasted like 2-3 weeks. So it's like, what do I do? And I could definitely see suicide and like mental illness and depression increasing. Like, do you see a lot of that too, though? Like,
yes, my patient that came in last night, he suicide attempt, multiple stab wounds, stabbed himself in the chest several times. His lung collapsed, all because he lost his job, and he wasn't like he felt like he wasn't a man anymore.
Yeah, that's facts.
And so he was supposed to go and see a therapist, but the day he was supposed to go see the therapist, he ended up stabbing himself in the bathroom. Like he had stab wounds all over his body. And he's like, even when he was on the floor, like he was telling us like he didn't want to live anymore. He's like, y'all are watching me because he has to have someone watching him 24/7.
Yeah.
He's like, y'all have someone watching me. Y'all not gonna let me do nothing. I was like, we don't want you to kill yourself.
Yeah, we don't want you to die. Like it's our job to keep you alive and happy.
That's what we got to keep you safe. And he's like, okay. So every time I go in there and check up on him, and he need anything, he's like, no, I'm good. And I felt so bad. So like before I left, I had to reassure him like, this is just a tough time for a lot of people, some worse than others, but you're gonna get through it, okay? And he was like, yeah. And his wife, like, she called this morning and she sounded like she was like been crying all like night.
Yeah.
And so like, I was like, can I talk to him? And usually if like a patient is being like a 1013, which is like suicide watch, we can't, if they're on a police hold with it, then we can't let them like speak to any family. But luckily he wasn't on police hold because he didn't try to attack anyone else.
Okay. So it was only just him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I kind of want to touch on that too within healthcare. Like a lot of, like, I know for men, we have the highest suicide rate and we have the most violent suicide rate. Like when men kill themselves, like it's not like, oh, well, he took some pills and we could possibly save him. Like they shoot himself in the face or they shoot himself in the chest or like they stab themselves in the neck or something like that. Like, why do you think that is for men versus, because I know when women kill them, or like, I'm not saying it's likely for anyone that's going to get offended, but I'm saying like when women try to attempt suicide, like, why do you think it's more softer? Like they probably drink too much or they might take a shot of bleach or take pills. Like, what do you think the versus is for that?
I can't even really tell you because I'm not really sure. I just know like, I feel like guys feed more into like this patriarchal society or standards that they, no offense, but y'all built that for yourselves. Like, y'all are hard on yourself. So like, if y'all weren't so like, oh, you need to do this, y'all make up the rules. So like, y'all, when someone cannot follow those rules, they feel like, oh, I failed at life. Yeah,
that's facts.
And so they get real hard on themselves and they do like, they just do some wild things. Like I have patients come in and they tell us, oh, he accidentally shot himself in the face.
He didn't accidentally do nothing.
I know that didn't accidentally happen. Don't tell me that. You just were unlucky and you shot the wrong spot. Okay?
Yeah, you wish you made it in the middle, but you hit the side.
And now half your face is blown off. Come on.
Which might lead to another suicide attempt.
Thank you.
Because now your face is messed up, you ugly. Now you can't get no girl and you probably can't get no job.
No.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good insight because like I know I'm really hard on myself about a lot of things. Like when I'm working out or even when I was doing schoolwork, like I would always and I recently just stopped like in the past like 7 months of comparing myself to like other, like I'm not even gonna lie, other successful men. Cause I didn't really compare myself to other successful women because I was like, I don't really relate to them.
Yes. Okay.
But and like plus like a lot of men like do what I wanted, like a lot of photographers I follow, or even people who just capitalists and just work with money or whatever like that. I will always compare myself to them. Like I'll be like, what am I doing that they're not doing? Like how do I get there? And recently, like I really had to stop. Like about 7 months ago, I was like, you know what? I don't even care. And once I stopped, like my life got so much better. Like I was no longer just like I didn't care. Like so when I really be like, I don't care. Like I really mean it. Like I really don't care. Bro. Like I'm sorry. But that's really good though, cause so like, have you had any issues with that? Like comparing, cause I know you're Nigerian.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's tough. Like,
so I mean,
Niger go.
I grew up with, no offense to my parents, but like they did good, but like I grew up with them comparing me to everyone, and like I feel like a Nigerian mentality is like, oh, they see someone else doing something, so they have to point out, oh, you're not doing this. Mm-hmm. Oh, you see how so-and-so's daughter is doing, you need to go and follow example and follow her suit and do what she's doing. Like, but like, they don't realize how much it does more damage than it does good. You constantly comparing me to other people, even when I'm doing good, it's like, okay, like that means I can't do anything good. Like it almost feels like, oh, like if I try, it's still not gonna be enough.
So do you think like it affects y'all's health? Like, do you think like it affects? Because I don't know, were you there when KSU had the Growing Up African?
Was I there?
I don't know. It was like 2.5 years ago.
I think
it was in the it was in the social science, like the big auditorium, not the one at the bottom, but the one like on the 3rd floor or 4th floor. And
I was there.
Yeah, and pretty much like all the African stuff was like, yeah, like I low key kind of just hate my life because my parents X, Y, and Z.
Because you get pressured into doing stuff like I love nursing now, but then in high school, like my parents telling me I was gonna have to do nursing, I cried. I was on my knees begging my dad, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I was crying. I was like, Daddy, I don't want to do this. He's like, he knows what's best for me. He was naming other people's children that were doing it. So-and-so's daughter is doing it. You see, Dr. So-and-so, his daughter's in nursing school and she's thriving and and you're like, okay, but that's not for me. Like, I don't want to do that. But to them, that's just like defying all their rules. If you just go against and you try and do something against what they want. Mm-hmm. So like, it's like growing up African, like they were just like forcing you to do stuff because it's how they just, how do I say this? They want to be perceived in a certain way in society.
Image is everything.
Yeah, image is everything for Nigerian parents or African parents in general. Like how they look to outside matters more than everything. They can be the most dysfunctional family in the inside, but when outside, if they look great, oh my gosh.
Like suit and tie with a dress and heels and makeup on.
That's all that matters. So
I feel like that's another thing that kind of separates Black people from African people, right? Like, because in the Black community, like our health issues are less mentally related and more physically related. Because a lot of Black people, they be like, you tell your mom that you're going to college. Like, you can go to a JUCO or you can go to a tech school. You tell your parents that you're going to college, they jumping for joy. You tell, hey mom, I did my first semester. I made like 4 C's and like 2 B's or something like that. Sure. Your mom is lit. Your dad is lit. Because most of them didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So like our mental health, like with, you know, what you're talking about right there, like I feel like it's really good in our community. Like most thing that plague us is like, you know, racism, cops killing us, all that stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of stuff like we be happy about like this. Like, and I didn't realize it when I was younger. Because to me it's normal, like it's privilege, like it's super privileged. To me, they would be like, "Oh, you doing so?" They would give, like, people would give me money, like people that I've never met before, like older Black people. I'd be like, "Yeah, I go to Kennesaw State. You know, I'm a junior. I'm gonna graduate like in a year and a half." They'd be like, "Oh man, that's a good job, man. Here's $20, bro. Like you doing good for the community, blah blah blah."
Must be nice,
man. Is it that bad in the community?
It would. I wouldn't say it's like bad. It's just. That would never happen. Like they don't praise you for going to school because going to school is something you should be doing. Like it's something you should do. Like you have no choice. Like if you're not in school because like say that you're going through stuff, financial reasons, Nigerians and Africans in general will they'll find a reason to talk. Oh, she's failing school. She's not doing well. You can even know the person like, oh, she's going through some stuff in life. The mom, dad, or whoever could be like, what in life? What is so hard about life? That you can't go to school. Then they'll bring up how many opportunities you have. You can take loans, all this stuff like that. But it's not that simple. You have to worry about your mental health first.
I feel like, have you heard the saying, the road to hell is paved in good intentions?
No, I actually haven't heard that.
You never heard that before? No. Yeah, like I've recently just heard it like a couple months ago from one of my cousins. I don't know where she heard it from, but I think like African parents mean well, like
do.
because like
They
no
mean
one
well.
no one wants their child to be depressed. Like no one wants to wake up and like, dang, my daughter tried to kill herself. Dang, my son stabbed himself in the neck. Like no, I don't feel like no parents want that. And I feel like your parents see what like they went through versus what y'all go through, and they're like, no, like they can be better than us because like. And I want to touch on this a little bit too, like here versus Nigeria, right? Completely different.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like one, don't get me wrong, America got its issues. We definitely got our issues. But like here versus Nigeria, like you have more opportunities here. It's probably a little bit easier. You know, the currency's a little bit, the currency's a little bit better.
A little less corruption.
Yeah, a little less corruption. I mean, we still got corruption, but a little less corruption.
It's not as visible.
Yeah, it's not as visible. So like, when your parents are growing up in Nigeria with all the stuff going on there, like I feel like they're really trying to help y'all.
Yeah, it was because my dad always tells us he wants us to have better than him, than he had. Because when he came here, he really like he went through it. Like that guy, he like suffered to get where he is. My dad has a PhD, but he went through hell
In Nigeria.
No, here he has a PhD here.
Okay.
But he went through hell to get that. So like. He always tells us he doesn't want us to suffer like he did. So he wants us to get and do opportunities that will ensure that we are successful in life. He said there's no reason you should suffer in this country. If you're in Nigeria, okay, I'd understand. But here, there's no reason you should. I'm not going to allow you to, he claimed, ruin your life and allow suffering upon yourself. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But can I take a break? Cannot breathe. Okay.
So would you ever be a nurse in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think I could. Yeah. It's a lot of, like I said, corruption. Sometimes the nurses and doctors aren't getting paid. Help. Yeah. And some of them will go on strike and they won't be getting paid. My mom was telling me about it. With healthcare there, you have to pay up front before anyone ever takes care of you.
So
yes.
Before you even get the surgery or like
you
the
have
broken
to pay
arm,
up front.
You got to pay that up front.
There's no such thing as insurance. And if there is one type of insurance, but my mom was trying to explain it to me, but she didn't know too much about it. But for the most part, you have to pay up front before anything.
I've never heard of that. Yeah. So question, if you don't have the money, you're out of luck.
You're out of luck. So
you're just sitting there.
There's nothing.
So let's say I'm in Nigeria right now.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm in Lagos. Mm-hmm. I break my arm. Mm-hmm. They're gonna be like, okay, we need 400,000 naira. If I don't have that, they're gonna be like, get out the hospital.
Not even they won't necessarily kick you out, but you just be laying there like
you just be like waiting.
Yeah, essentially waiting until someone finds the money to take care of you.
Okay, now let's bring it to America.
Yeah.
Would that happen here?
No.
So let's say
we have homeless people hurting themselves all the time. They're not paying.
So if I went outside right now, broke my arm, I was like, I need to go to
you'd get
Grady.
You get surgery.
And but I'll have to pay it later though, right?
Probably bill you later, yeah.
Okay, so that makes me feel a little bit better because I started freaking out a little bit. You said, I was like, what? I was like, is that how it's run here a little bit? I was like, man, that's tripping.
We have like we have some patients, like some homeless patients that are in like trauma incidents, like they get in car accidents or like they get hit by a car or they fall off a building or stuff like that, and they have to go for like surgery where they have to fix their elbows, fix their legs, all that stuff like that, and they don't pay anything. And sometimes we have to keep them in the hospital longer than usual because they have nowhere to go, because we have to have somewhere for them to some type of placement before we discharge them. We can't just discharge a patient and they don't have a home or a shelter to go to. We have to find placement before we discharge them.
Okay. So you because you've been in here for a good minute, like I consider anything over a year in somewhere, like you've been in there, like you're a vet. To me, you would be a vet. If someone told me they've been a nurse for a year, I'd be like, okay, you done seen some stuff, maybe not everything, but I trust you to find this vein, right? Or do what you gotta do, or clean me up or whatever, or open me up or whatever. How would you rank our healthcare system? Like, if you could compared to what you know about other healthcare systems in the world, how would you rank it? Be honest. Like, I really want you to be honest. Like, because I trust you.
It could be better. So I'd give it like a 6
out of 10.
Yeah,
6 out of 10. Yeah. So what makes it a 6? Like, what do you think could boost us to like an 8 or a 9? Because you're not gonna find a 10 nowhere.
No,
a 10 is like people be saying, "Oh, we could have the." I'm like, there's no. Someone's gonna fall through the cracks. It's gonna happen. So what do you think could make us like an 8 or 9? More
funding, adequate staffing. We're always understaffed, especially at nights, and with us being understaffed and doctors not really being around, it makes it really hard to take care of patients in like dire situations, because you're freaking out trying to call everybody and people are asleep or they're on the other side of the hospital like doing other stuff because there's only so many doctors or mid-levels around. So we need more staffing, we need more funding for more equipment. There's only so many ventilators we have at our hospital, and with the increasing number of COVID cases, what are we going to do? We're going to have to start doing Russian roulette with it, where we're going to be like, oh, you can survive, and I guess we pick you to survive, and I'm sorry, you gotta go. So, or they start outweighing like, oh, okay, this is an 80-year-old lady with COPD, bronchitis, history of asthma, diabetes, end-stage renal disease, versus a 30-year-old with ulcerative colitis.
No idea what that is, but okay.
It's within your tummy.
So okay, your stomach.
Your
okay.
digestive system's a little wonky.
So you feel like our main issue is we could have some more funding.
Definitely.
We're way understaffed.
Definitely.
And it could be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
So I feel like the understaffed part is like, how do we get more people to want to do nursing, like to want to be a nurse or be a doctor? Because you did your nursing at Kennesaw, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know how hard it is to get into nursing at Kennesaw.
Yeah, and to stay in.
So like, I feel like and I get it. You want the best of the best. I get it, but like, you always getting the best of the best kind of hurts everyone else, right?
Yeah, it does. But it's like you want them to be more lenient, but these are people's lives we're dealing with. Okay,
that's true. But at the same time, someone who's not good now doesn't mean they're not going to be good later.
I get that, but so nursing school, there's this drug calculation test.
Okay.
And we take it and you have to get 100 on it.
A perfect score on it. Not a 99.
Oh, no, because they're like, think about it. Oh, if she's like, oh, I got a 90, it's still an A. They're like, think about it. You get 90% of all the medications that you pass out right. So 10% of the times you're getting wrong and you can potentially kill somebody.
So you need to get a perfect score.
Perfect. Because, like, again, these are people's lives. You could kill them.
That's facts.
You could do some serious damage to them. So, like, I get why they're so strict, but it's also hurting us as well because, like, we're understaffed. There are not that many nurses. We need nurses, but
so then you guys are stuck. Like you're kind of stuck in a paradox. Like, yeah, you need nurses, but you don't want
we need the best of the best because we need to. I mean, we can't. If we just let anybody get into nursing, people be dying left and right.
I'm not saying let anyone into nursing, but okay. So in order to get what's the bare minimum you need to get into Kennesaw's nursing school?
See, Kennesaw's is like very simple. Like compared to other schools, like you didn't have to do like volunteer work or like get like recommendations. It was all about your GPA and the TEAS test score. So you had to make sure your GPA was like damn near flawless.
Like a 3.8 or 3.9?
Like 3.9.
Not a 3.8?
3.8, you probably pushing it. Like fall semester, to get into like a fall cohort, you can get like a 3.9. You have to get like a 3.9 and up. But like spring, I feel like they're a lot lenient for the spring cohort because then they'll let them they can have like a 3.8 and above and be okay. But like your T score has to be like flawless.
So a 3.9, if I'm doing this math in my head correctly, because I'm trying to, because I ain't never seen my GPA over a 3.2. Like a 3.9 means you probably made 1 or 2 B's your entire college career. If that.
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong about that.
Because before I got into nursing school, I had a 3.93, and I only made 2 B's, and that was in labs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a genius.
I wouldn't say that, but
No, you gotta be. You got into Kennesaw nursing. You had a 3.93. Yeah, I'm kind of dumb. I'm really stupid. I'm looking. I can't.
I feel like I'm more book smart. I'm not the most. As you can see from this, I won't say I'm the most like articulate. Like I just don't know how to like put on.
Nah, you're smart, bro.
Put my words into like action, because like what nursing has helped me do is like be able to talk to people, because like I never knew how to like formulate my thoughts into like
communication skills,
good sentences. Like I just didn't know how to talk to people. But like it forced me out my comfort zone, because not only do you have to be book smart, but you also have to know to socialize, and like sometimes I just don't feel like talking, but like some patients be forcing it out of you. They just be talking. You be like, yeah. I have a nursing voice, and then I have my regular voice. I walk in, hello, hi, my name is Adaeze. I'm going to be your nurse for today. How are you?
Code switching. We already know.
Like they'll eat it up. You're so beautiful. You're the sweetest little thing. How old? You can't be a day over 18. I'm like, no.
Hey man, get off my phone. I love the country folk, man. Get off my phone, man. They're my people.
No, they're the cutest. They really are the cutest, and like the ones with the thick accents. You be like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they was raised on red dirt. Like they're not days. Ooh, they're super. Yeah, they're super country. They was raised on red dirt, like somewhere like in Albany or Statesboro or something like that. Or probably.
But like I do enjoy them. I enjoy them a lot. So.
Okay, so then we touched on trying to get more people in there. So how do you think it could be run better? Because you're a black woman, right? Like, I mean, well, not right, but you're a black woman. You're an African black woman.
Yeah.
And everyone knows the racism that be in the healthcare system. Yes. It's hard to deny it.
Yeah.
Like it's like even I'm like, yeah, this is crazy, because like our infant mortality rate for black women should not be that high. Even the mortality rate for black women giving birth, I feel like in America we should have like less than 0.01% cases of people dying.
They really undermine like black people's pain, because I'm going to give a good example about patients that come in for sickle cell crisis. They'll come in and, sickle cell, people who have sickle cells, they've been dealing with all their life. So like they could be in pain, but they may not show it. You know what I mean? And so we'll have patients that come in with sickle cell crisis, and like the nurse, they'll have like a PCA pump, which is a pain pump. So it's like hooked to an IV, and they can press it to give themselves medication. On top of that, some, oral medication, pain medication that they'll get. And like there'd be nurses who be like, oh, how can he need all that pain medication and also have a PCA pump? Like, this doesn't make any sense. He doesn't even look like he's in pain. But it's like, this is something he's been dealing with all his life. And you don't know how a sickle cell crisis is really affecting. You just know that the blood inside their bones is sticking together. It's just sticking together and just like clotting. Like they clot real easily, and it's just getting stuck in their bones. That's painful. It's almost like someone's like digging inside you, but you can't you can't stop it. You can't stop it. The most we can do is give them pain medication and hydrate them. Really hydrate them. And like a lot of nurses, especially the white ones, really undermine, like they're like, oh, he can't be hurting that bad, or it's not that bad. Like we have patients that are African American, they'll come in for car accidents, and you can clearly see they're in pain, and they'll be calling for pain medication. It's like, oh, she doesn't need it. I already gave her pain medication. You telling her she can't be in pain, I just gave her something. That's not the case. She is in pain. You just need to go in there and reassure her that, oh yeah, it's not time for the pain medication, but I can, give you something else. A lot of the times I go in the patient's room and I find ways to distract them, because if I can't give them their pain medication at a time, it's too early, I will then do distraction techniques.
Yeah,
they can't sleep because they're in pain. So I'll be like, okay, let's talk about something. Let me bring my computer and I'll chart in here. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can crack jokes. We can talk about movies. We can do anything. If you want me to do a silly dance for you, I can do a silly dance for you. It's 3:00 in the morning. It's my crackhead hours. Let's do
man, you the GOAT.
Let's do something. And they'll eventually, like, I'll laugh them till they tire and go to sleep.
Yeah, so you the GOAT. That's what's up.
There are certain things you got to do. Some patients come in, like some Black patients come in, they're like already hostile because they're already on go. They were like, oh yeah, I know how y'all about to treat me. Y'all not finna treat me like this.
I feel you.
And so, but usually they give me those type of patients because they're like, oh yeah, like you're good at dealing with problematic patients. Oh, and I'm like, oh,
they did not say that.
Oh yeah.
I think cap. I probably would have been like, what do you mean problematic? Like, because
but it's not only Black people. Like, it's all types. Like, I get like the older ones that they feel like are problems. Okay. The angry ones, like we got some. They gave me a Trump supporter one time, like a avid, like he had Trump. MAGA 2020 on
MAGA 2020.
His room, and they said, "Oh no, we can't take him. This is the only one who can handle that." I was like,
"Build the wall."
I said, "What's happening?" I walked in, and it was just a whole. But I was like, they were like, "Hello." Though I remember his pastor looked right past me and was like,
"Oh dang, you already know what that means."
I was like, "I'm sorry, I know what I'm doing sometimes," but. It's not, African Americans aren't the only they're not always considered problematic, but like I feel like a lot of things that they come in and it's just kind of brushed off. Yeah. And like, you have to, sometimes you even have to remind some of the other Black nurses, hey, like don't feed into these stereotypes that these other people are telling you. Like you got to know how your own people are. Like some of them can be a little ignorant to some certain things, but it's your job to educate them. Yeah. Like patients that will get mad at me for not giving their pain medication. I'm like, but I just gave them something, and I'll be like this, honey, I can't sedate you, for you. Yeah. Because if you go into respiratory depression, oh my gosh, I don't know what I will do. Like I'll look at them, I'll make that face, and they'll start laughing. But I'm like, I'm serious. I cannot knock you out. Yeah, I can't do that to you.
I feel that. Like I feel and I feel like it has a lot to do with perception. Because especially me being a Black dude, like I'm not that tall, but like you look at me, you be like, dang, this is a big dude. Like he's thick. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? Like he has muscle. He's solid. And I feel like when they ask me certain questions, they're kind of saying like, oh, you really don't feel it. Like it doesn't hurt you that much. Because like you see me as like, and I feel like dark skinned people get it a lot because you see like my brother. I don't know if you really get it. But I know when we used to go like get physicals and stuff, they would like ask me questions. I'm like, why are you like, what does that have to do with anything? Like immediately off rip, like when you get the physicals, right? Like the first thing they ask him is like, do you drink? I'm like, you're not gonna ask his height, how much he weighs.
Thank you.
Like you don't ask, do you take, like he has asthma. Like you're not gonna ask none of these questions. Like the first thing you ask him is, does he drink? Because he's a 6'4" Black dude and he's dark skinned and he's like, what is that?
Why is that on top of
like
your list?
We've been private school, Catholic, majority white our entire lives. Do you hear? And we code switch in public.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie to you. So we're talking with a proper accent. We got like look at us. Like we no criminal record, no nothing. And the first thing you're asking is like all the bad stuff. Like come on, man. Like what is wrong with y'all? Like I feel, and to me sometimes it kind of annoys me because. Like when I get it, they be like, and the first thing they always tell me is like, oh, you need to fix your diet. It's like, no, I don't. Like I know what I'm doing with my diet.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be healthy, get more muscle. I'm not trying to be frail because I have heart problems. Like most of my friends, they don't weigh over 120. Yeah. Like a lot of my friends, they're like my height, but you know, I blame it on the heart problems, of course, but they're like my height and they weigh from like 120 to 130. Like they're frail people. Like you look at them, you're like, dang. This dude's not going to live past 50. I didn't want that for myself. So as soon as I got out of my heart surgery in my junior year of high school, I was like, I'm going to start lifting weights, eat nothing but steak, chicken, vegetables, every now and then fast food. I drink only water. And then they check my blood pressure and they're like, oh my God, like your blood pressure is so good. I'm like, yeah.
I'm taking care of myself.
And you talking about a diet, you looking at me. Like, yeah, I know like my cardiologist, he said, sir, did you know that you gained 10 pounds since your last? I was like, yeah. It's like, what are you, like, look at me, bro.
That's the point.
I'm like, look at me, bro. Like, come on, bro. You can see my arms. Like, I had to look at him like he was stupid. I was like, bro, come on, bro. Like, you think I gained 10 pounds of fat? No, bro. Look at me, dog. You know this is muscle. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I actually had to switch doctors because he annoyed me. Because my doctor before him was actually from Sierra Leone. His name was Dr. Metzger. And he was the coolest doctor ever. He would be like, how you doing? You having fun? Blah, blah. And he had like the thick accent. Cause,
yeah.
You know, he was FOB.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I had him for years, but I tried to switch to a doctor of color because like I was getting annoyed with the like, are you gonna fix your diet or blah 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 blah? And then we do the test, and they're like, oh, never mind, you're good. Like, just don't weigh over 210, and you'll be fine for your heart. I'm like, I know, like, it's annoying me so much.
Yeah, I believe it. I actually get really excited when I have African American patients because I get to annoy them. Not like that, but like,
see, you're causing that divide between African Americans and Black people and African.
No, like I not to annoy them, but like I get excited like when I have them because like okay, like I don't have to code switch.
You get to be yourself.
Yeah, I get to be myself. Yeah. So like, and they don't look because when I come in trying to be like trying to code switch and be like, they're looking at me like
they be like,
you one of them. You one of them. So like if I come in and I start talking normally, they're like, oh, okay. Like we start being cool. And they're like, oh, how did you get them? Like I could get a report that they were a hard patient. Like they just had an attitude all day. Yeah. And I get them and we cool. We've been cool all night. So I'm like, yeah, they're a great patient. I love them. I'm getting report that night again. They're like, oh no, like how did you deal with them? Like they were great for me. Like you just got to be their friend. Like you got to be cool with them, but still also educate them and take care of them the way they need to be taken care of.
Yeah, like just don't like, I just don't like, because me personally, I don't judge anyone off how they look. At least I try not to. And if I do, I apologize. But I don't like being judged off rip. Like I got the long curly hair. I got the muscles. They be like, dang, this dude look mean. Why he got a resting B face? Like what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
Like I hate that. Like just talk to me like I'm I feel like so much racism in healthcare could be fixed if we just talk to people normal. Like I feel like there should be a guideline. Like you know how you go to a restaurant. They say, oh, hey, whatever my name is, blah, blah, blah. I'll be serving you today. Can I get you drink orders? And then they come back with the drink orders. Like, can I get you something to eat? Yeah. I feel like it should be like that in healthcare. Like
it's supposed to be.
Like
it's supposed to be. Just some people just refuse to follow it that way. They want to do it and fix it up their own way.
Fire those people.
I tend to code switch because of the way I look. I'm a young Black girl and I have piercings everywhere.
Yeah.
And so
I see the nose piercing. I kind of like it though.
I walk in. Thanks. I walk in and I have to be like, hey, how are you? So they're not like, okay, who are you? Like they're not looking at me crazy. I have braids or I usually have a wig on my head. I walk in the room. My ears are like covered in piercings. I have nose piercing. And like I have jewelry all over the place, so they're thinking like this girl can't be serious. They're looking like, oh, I know she can't be serious. Like this, what's she doing here? She's trying to play like, she playing dress up. Like they looking at me like, oh, like sometimes they look past me and like, oh, where's my nurse? Like I'll be getting a report in the room with the nurse.
Stop playing.
And they're like, oh, when's my night shift nurse coming? And I'm looking like, hi, I'm your night shift nurse.
What?
Hi. They're like, oh, nice to meet you. I remember telling a patient that what my name was, and she's like, what kind of name is that? And her daughter was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at her, I was like, yeah. And I can fire a patient. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want them.
That's crazy. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine someone taking care of me and being like, ugh. Like,
yeah.
You were finna control what's finna go in my arm. I'm like, finna be the nicest person to you.
And I was like,
I'm finna buy you dinner, make sure I live.
I said, yeah. And the crazy thing was I had the patient, I was supposed to, it was a semi-private room. So it was two patients in that room. And I had the patient on the other side. So I was supposed to have both of them. And when she said that, I was like, yeah, I don't want her anymore. So another nurse, I switched with another nurse and he came in and he was like, oh, I'm going to be your nurse tonight. And she's like, what happened to the girl?
You were racist.
And the thing, and then after he told me that was what she said, so I came back in and I took care of her neighbor, and she was just looking at me crazy, like, huh?
Maybe you shouldn't judge me off the way I look.
I was shocked when I didn't see her. I was like, I'm paying attention. I was like, hey, Miss So-and-so, you doing all right? Mama, you okay? You need me to get you anything? I'm ignoring her. You need me to get you anything? You okay? She's like, yeah, I'm great. I'm like, okay, just let me know if you need anything.
Yeah, I feel like we shouldn't judge people, especially in healthcare, like off the way they look, because like how you look has no ability played into like how you can treat me.
Yeah,
like at all. Black, white, tall, skinny, fat, bald, got longest hair in the world.
Honestly,
as long as you can make sure that I'm living by tomorrow, I don't care what you look like.
Thank you.
And I feel like everyone should think that way, because like, did you hear that when there was this case of a black doctor like saving a member of the Ku Klux Klan?
I don't think I've heard about that, but
yeah, it happened.
You get stuff like that.
It happened like 8 years ago or something like that. Like it was a while back, but he took care of it. And like when asked about it, he was like, well, like my job is to save lives.
Exactly. Like we don't take care of people based on their past. Like they could be substance abuse, substance abuser and all that stuff like that. But like we can't just be like, oh, we're gonna treat them a certain way because they used to do drugs or they've killed someone or they're on police hold or they came from jail. Yeah. We can't. We just treat them like they're a normal person. Like I get a lot of patients like, oh, you treat me so well. You've been so good to me. But like that's my job. Like.
Yeah, like I'm literally trained.
This is my job. Like I'm not supposed to be here and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just take care of you any type of way because of your past. Your past doesn't matter to me at all. I'm here to do my job and take care of you, make sure you can go home and be safe.
Yeah, that. I feel like that also plays into the racism part because like what you're saying right now, like I feel like that's how they see black people, and like y'all know me, I don't even like to play the race card at all, but. In healthcare, like it's so prevalent and it's so in your face that it makes you wonder how other people don't see it. Like it drives me insane sometimes when I talk to people about it. And I'm like, bro, are you like for real right now? Like you're not even joking. Like you're not even laughing. Like you're being 100% right now.
Serious.
Like you mean to tell me that you see all these black women dying and you don't think it's weird like at all?
Like, well, I feel like they have some underlying shit.
No, bruh.
Please, let's not.
Like, no, bruh. Like, bruh, you mean to tell me that, first off, black women give birth at a higher rate than white women? Like, on like a, percentage scale. So it's like, how can that be true then, bro? Like, what are you talking about, my guy? Like, I never, ever understood how black women can die in America.
They just a lot of underestimating their pain and their symptoms. Like they'll just kind of like brush it off. Not all nurses like that, but there's some that are like they're just like. And you sometimes some of my coworkers, I have to be like, hey, remind them like, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, well, I actually go check on them. They'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I hate when I see the Twitter articles, and it'd be like, black woman said that she had abdominal pain. Doctor didn't listen. She died a week later. Now father's left with 3 kids, and I'm just like, bruh.
Crazy.
When someone tells you you're in pain, even if they're faking, check it out.
We have to.
Like even if you check it out and it turns out like they're faking or it's a mental pain or whatever. At least you try.
You did something. Like your patient's saying I'm having abdominal pain and you just in there like, well, I mean, have you had a bowel movement yet? If you're not, okay, then go sit down. You need to assess their abdomen. You need to at least let the doctor know that they're complaining about abdominal pain. See what any type of intervention you can do besides any type of pain medication, because you never know, that patient could be bleeding out in their stomach.
Yeah, I feel like we should, and because I talked about this on the first episode with Don. I think it's weird how you can't look up like people's stats. You know what I'm saying? Like for almost anything else, you can look up like when you're on an iPhone, right? You can look up, oh, like, is this iPhone good? How long is the battery? Is the battery going to last? Who made it? Oh, Steve Jobs. Oh, he's smart. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Apple. I feel like you should be able to Google, like, a hospital, and then...
They would not allow that to happen.
I'm not saying Google, like, where you live or anything like that. Yeah. But I feel like there should be, like, your name and, like, how well patients like you and, like, how good you are at your job. And if you let people die under you or anything like that. I feel like, to me... Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not in healthcare. I might be stupid.
A lot of that stuff is more internal. I would say hospitals like to protect their own until it's way out of their hand. Like, they can't.
Is that dumb? Like, I feel like that don't make no sense.
I wouldn't say particularly, because sometimes it's not the nurse's fault. It's not the doctor's fault. Things just happen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people do make some crazy mistakes with medicine. That's why I said dosage calculation. You need to get it done 100% of the time. 100%. Because 99% or 95%, you kill somebody. But sometimes it's not your fault, and I get it, because it's with it being understaffed. Things can happen. You're stressed, you're overworking people. Some units are only staffed because people are picking up. And with this COVID-19, because a lot of people are too scared to come to the hospital for even the minor things, hospitals are not getting funding as they usually are. We're constantly spending a lot more money on PPE now because of the COVID-19. So they're basically holding and pushing back or cutting people's hours. So people aren't working as they should. So with they're not allowed, with us not working like we should, we're not allowed to pick up overtime. So the floors that were being staffed because people were picking up overtime for them to be staffed are now severely understaffed.
So the whole system's messed up is what you're saying.
Yes.
So what do you think that we could do to fix the system? Because like, I mean, I feel like the best person to ask is the person that's in it. So what do you think? Like, how would, like, if you could get a hospital, right? Like, what would you do? Like, would you hire more women or would you hire more men? Or like, would you hire like older people or younger people? Like, how do we get more funding? Like what do you think would be the best?
I actually hire like a lot more like younger nurses, but we'd also have to have older nurses to train them because I mean, it's so bad. We're so understaffed that we got new grads training new grads. That what? I refuse to take a student. Like I can't a new grad. I won't do it because like I just finished. What do you mean? Who am I teaching? I'm still learning every time I come to work. Cause
like I know with my job, like I do taxes, right? Like all I do is numbers, like all day, and I talk to people every now and then. But I know when I got hired, we have a manager, so we have like one manager, then we have like 2 team leads, and then like the team leads pretty much teaches the team.
Yeah.
Do you think like it should be kind of run like that?
No, because really, as nursing is so like complex, you need one-on-one training.
So you need one-on-one training.
Yes.
So you can't do like 1-on-4 or 1-on-3.
That's way too much. Because with 1-on-4, it's only so much you can do with a group of people on one person.
Okay.
Because you really have to learn how to take care of a group of patients on your own. Like one-on-one training, it basically builds you to take care of a set of patients on your own.
So then the main thing is we just need to get more people into healthcare.
Yeah.
And there's no way to do that besides them wanting to be in it.
Yeah. And you can't really force people to do something. If they look at the stats and look at how it is now and see how it's affecting even the healthcare workers, that's going to deteriorate. It's going to deter them from wanting to do that. Like my sister, she's in nursing school right now, and all she talks about, I don't know, I want to do this no more.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
kind of stuck.
You should. We need people.
But we really do need people.
We need them.
I feel like it's such a like, I don't know, like I'm kind of stuck because I didn't know it was that complicated. Like I knew being a nurse was hard. Don't get me wrong. I knew being a nurse was hard. Like I think that the hardest profession is probably healthcare. Like me personally, because you talking about I'm a neurobrain surgeon. I'm like, bro, I can't even spell that. So you got it. All right, whatever you talking about, bro. Like sure, you cut nerves and cells and brains and stuff. So then this leads into my big question that I hope doesn't get me beat up. Do you think healthcare is a right? Or do you think it is a very, very, very special commodity?
I feel like it's a right. Like I feel like everybody should have access to it because like why not? Like everybody has a body, everybody has like
Facts.
Needs, wants, and I feel like healthcare is a need. Like everybody wants to live, everybody wants to be their healthiest. So why not? Mm-hmm. We see so many people who are afraid to go to the hospital because of insurance. They don't have insurance. So like insurance. They have like the wildest underlying conditions. They have people who back to back, like so many core morbidities. Mm-hmm. It's like, why haven't you come to the hospital before this? We have patients that have never been to hospital a day in their life. They come in and they're diagnosed with so much at one sitting.
Jesus.
You come in, your A1C is 18. How are you still functioning? What's happening? Oh, I don't have diabetes. You came in with a blood sugar of 500. Yeah, you do.
Jesus Christ, that's high, right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So then, like, because my solution that I think would work for healthcare is if you make it a really special commodity, it gets easy. Like it incentivizes people to go into healthcare and to be better healthcare professionals. Like, okay, like yes, I kind of do think it's a right, but I don't think it should be treated like a right because, like how you're saying, you're understaffed and you don't, and maybe not you specifically, but like y'all don't know how to bring in more people.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it a stack. a lot of people are motivated by money.
Yeah.
If you could be like a doctor or a nurse, and I could tell you like, yeah, bro, if you was a nurse, bro, and you was really good at your job, you can make $200K a year. Like, you would do that.
I'd be like, what?
You'd be like, what?
What?
Like, what? Like, my brother went into sales solely because, like, when he was in college, they was like, yeah, man, you can make 6 figures in 1 year. And he did that. And he was like, and I asked him about it now. He's like, bro, it's hard, but, like, you know, that check be nice. Like, I like getting that check. So I feel like, yeah, I really do feel like it's right. But I really feel like if we treat this right like a commodity, I feel like it'll fix so many issues. Like, you'll get better healthcare workers. You'll get patients who are like actually want to go to the hospital, and patients who also like, you know, won't judge you.
Yeah.
Right. And
they'll
then
be
also
more comfortable.
Yeah, they'll be more comfortable. And then also I feel like it will fix the funding issue as well.
Oh, definitely. Because
if you know what you're paying for, right, and you guys could charge specifically for, because you don't even know prices, right?
No.
Like, you just do stuff. Like,
you just do it.
Like, you see a person having a heart attack, you're like, boom, needle or the shock pads or whatever, get the bandages. Like, you don't even know. And there are some people who actually don't even get, like you were saying earlier, there are some people who don't even get healthcare because it costs so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading this thing on Twitter, and I don't know if it's true or not. They were saying that a Band-Aid at a hospital costs like $30.
Not sure about that, but I just found out like we have like saline flushes where we flushed IVs with.
Yeah.
Someone told me they're about like $25 a pop, and that's basically salt water that we're using to.
I feel like that's crazy.
Flush out there.
I feel like that's insane. I feel like, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not.
A lot of
right.
small stuff are very expensive.
Like a pack of Band-Aids, we could literally go to CVS and get for like $4, and we can get like 12 of them.
Yeah, that's expensive.
I just feel like.
I feel like it's more they're paying for like their service. It's like almost like, let me think.
Okay, wait.
You could take let's say you're a photographer, right?
Yeah.
And so I could take a picture by myself at home and it'd be free. Like, but for you to go out of your way and take the picture, it's like it's a service that you're providing for that person. So
yeah, like I do try, like my prices do include like me, myself personally.
Yes.
Cause like I have packages where like, it's like, okay, bet you want to just book me and here are just the raws. There you go. And then I got packages like, okay, wait, you want to book me, and then you want to book the editing, and then you want this many, then I give you the specific price for this. Kind of like when you get your car fixed, right?
Yeah.
Like you can buy a tire, and you can buy a wrench,
and you could do it yourself.
And you could do it yourself, but ain't no one trying to do that.
Thank you.
So you go to the NTB, or you go to the Impala place, or you go to the wherever you want to go, and then you can call around and see who got the cheapest price.
Thank you.
Because I remember I was getting my engine flushed, and at the actual dealership they were charging like $200. I called around, I got to NTB, they did the cheapest for $60. I feel like we should do healthcare like that.
Oh yeah, they won't do that.
They won't do that. But see, NTB only charges what they need enough to make a profit, right?
Yeah.
Because like it don't take them that long. Like they got a machine, whatever, blah blah blah. They do it. They all this stuff, and the dude's like, "Yeah, it'll take you like 20 minutes." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, man, let's go.
But your car dealership is upholding a brand.
That's what I'm saying.
So like these hospitals have to uphold a certain brand or look.
Okay.
And so they have to be able to fund those looks. So if you want to go to a hospital that looks, state of the art and is beautiful, then
you're paying for the details.
Not even the detail, but also the staff that works there, because they have to be able to pay their staff. If you wanted someone to put a Band-Aid on you, you wanted to get a Band-Aid for cheap, you could have gone to a CVS and bought that and slapped it on your arm for free. But you decide to go to the hospital to get that bandage on, and it's going to cost you some because they still need to pay their workers.
Facts.
Because if they made you pay as much as you would pay that for that bandage at a local CVS, how are they going to pay their workers? How are they going to pay to keep up their lights or their buy their equipment or buy all the supplies they need to take care of these patients? Because I'm not gonna lie, these medications that we're giving some of these patients are expensive.
Yeah, they cost like insulin costs like isn't like $600 like a bottle or something, like $300 like a bottle.
More than that.
Yeah, it's like some
$1,000.
crazy number. Like,
$1,000.
even I know when I was younger taking my heart medicine, like, thank God we had insurance because I was taking that every day from the age of like 4 to the age of, when did I have my surgery? 15. So that's 11 years. That's over a decade.
That's a lot of
365 over a decade.
That's a lot of money.
And luckily, you know, my dad and my mom, they get really good insurance. So like, I don't think they ever paid anything out of pocket for it. But I know it wasn't cheap because it's cardiology. Like it's like your heart. Like I feel like anything that has to deal with, you know, specific organs, especially like your heart, it can't be cheap.
No.
So I already knew what it was. But I mean, yeah, you could be right though. Like maybe we do just need more government funding. Like I really don't know the answer because I feel like America's biggest problem is diversity. Like it's easy for other countries to have a certain healthcare system and it works for them. Because one, they only got like 30 million people, 20 million people, and it's all the same people. Like you go to Germany, you go to Norway, you go to Iceland, like it's literally the same person. Like you see a white dude with blonde hair and blue eyes. Like that's it. You go to like different countries in Africa or you go to the Caribbean. Then the black people.
You usually see the same type of illnesses, so you get like
the same thing,
knowledge and you know equipment on that specific type of like things. But like here, it's a lot of like different types of health disparities and different demographics that have their own different types of healthcare problems or comorbidities that affect them. So like you have to have enough funding to even like test or know how to treat those illnesses.
Like we can go from a black person with sickle cell, right, to a lot of younger white boys that have asthma, to black women with pregnancy, to Asian people with like backbone problems. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many things that when I hear people's opinions on healthcare, I'm like, you're right. I'm like, you're possibly right. It could work. But I feel like the diversity in America makes it so hard because you're saying, well, look at this country. Look at Germany. It works here. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does work in Germany. You're absolutely right. It does work in Germany.
But U.S. is a whole different beast.
U.S. is a whole different beast. And then not only that, we vary in age so much. Like you can't diagnose like a 30-year-old with a knee problem is not the same as a 65-year-old with a knee problem. Nope. You got to do 2 different tests.
You got to treat it differently because every patient is different. So it's a lot of individualistic approaches when it comes to healthcare because of how diverse it is here in the U.S.
And I feel like that's our biggest problem. And we don't know I don't know the solution to it. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm
in it all,
Yeah. But I have I don't know the solution to it at all. And like, I'm glad that I was able to get your opinion on it because I really wanted someone who was way, like, I know maybe 0.01%.
Yeah, I'm like a baby in it. Like I'm just like, hey, what's up?
Nah, you're not a baby in it, man.
Yeah, they still call me a baby on my unit. I'm one of the youngest. They're like, oh yeah, she's the baby. She's our baby. I'm like, oh, okay, I heard you.
So what are your future plans with like? Are you trying to like get your master's, PhD?
I'm trying to get my doctorates.
Oh snap!
But
you're a genius.
Field that I'm like the approach I'm trying to go towards is I need a lot more experience before I go get my doctorates and go back to school. So I'm just kind of chilling and trying to find my way through nursing and seeing what I like. What's my, my cup of tea.
So if you have any advice for the, young anyone, but mainly the young women, and especially the young African women who are going through it right now, trying to be a nurse, what would you say before we close it out?
Girl, this only the beginning.
She said, girl, I'm so sick.
It's only the beginning. Honestly, I would say a lot of these nursing professors or people who teach the prerequisites for nursing will try and tell you that you cannot do it. Don't listen to them. Don't even try it. They're gonna try and discourage you. I've dealt with that, and I'm looking at them like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do? Don't talk to me any type of way.
Keep talking, girl.
I'm not the one. Wrong. You got the wrong. You got the right plan. Wrong, bitch.
Take your time at the altar.
Don't try me. So like, just don't listen to them. They're going to be very negative, very negative, very, very negative. And they're going to look for any type of way to get you kicked out of the program or discourage you to not go into nursing. Don't allow them to say any of that to you. Don't listen to any of them because after days, a lot of them are bitter. They're bitter. They're bitter. And there's, to be honest, this is not for everyone to know, but I know some people. There's a reason why they're doing teaching.
Oh no.
And not bedside.
Oh, kiss lip. Hey.
So when they talk to you any type of crazy, just be like, ha, ha, ha. Take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, that was some good words of inspiration. Hey, thank you so much for being on here. Shout out your social media. If you want to. I don't want to. Instagram, not Twitter. Instagram, not Twitter.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I guess I could do my IG. IG is days_and_amaze. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks so much for being on the podcast. This was my top 2 that I wanted to do so much. Like,
thanks. I hope I didn't babble like an idiot.
No. I think it's really good to give personal stories so people really know how it goes. But thanks so much for being on. You know, you're a good friend, and I hope
thanks for having me. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, just hit me up anytime.
Yeah, I haven't had social interaction in a minute. So I mean, this is besides work. Great.
All right, and we're out.